What is going on, YouTube? It is Karma Speaks, back with another video. Hopefully you guys are doing good. This one is going to be a little bit different. I'm trying to record something on my actual second camera. It's not my main camera. My main camera is actually right here. It's this behemoth. But I was prompted to make this video because I saw somebody make a video on this, and I like to look up to other people that are, I guess, YouTubers, but more like people that actually have jobs and actually, still work and live within the confines of reality for most people. And a lot of times they're older individuals, like they're in their 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s. And, you know, they just talk about topics that I feel like I personally resonate with. So I want to pass on the message to you guys. The topic was pretty much, you're either rich or you're poor, right? You're either rich or you're poor. And um, it sounds really bad because, like, what about the middle? Like, what do you mean? Like, there's a middle ground. Like, you don't have to be rich or poor, right? And obviously there's extremes to both. You could be Jeff Bezos and be a multi-billionaire, or you could be somebody that's way below the poverty line, making no money on, government assistance, right? So there are way different spectrums, way different sides of it. And then you have, we'll call it the middle. Maybe it's 50 to 100 grand a year or whatever. But as I, develop into adulthood and, I'm starting to make more money, good money, and I'm able to save a lot and take care of myself and everything that, a normal functioning adult does, just at a little bit of a higher level, I realize, wow, I don't make jack shit. Pardon my tongue. Sorry. I don't make jack shit. I don't make anything, right? I make money, right, which is, it's good for a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old, whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't make anything. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I made $11,000 last month and I still feel like I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm fine with it because it gives me like a sort of drive to keep going, like, go harder, achieve more, do more, be more, right? But I'm sitting here and I'm like, one, in the state and area like where I live now, median home price, median is like $850,000, which basically means you're not qualifying unless your household income is 200,000 plus. That's just the facts. And so, as I'm, just looking for investment properties and looking for ways that I can get into real estate, my options are so small, right? I can't do anything in my area. I can't invest in my area. Even if the best you'll find with a total gut reno, maybe 500, 475, 500, right? And that's in a halfway decent neighborhood. The really trashy ones, you'll get 400. You could probably find 400 for total like crack house in my neighborhood or in my area. But I don't want a crack house. That's one. And I shouldn't have to make well over $100,000 to qualify for a crack house. Now, the people that watch this, I don't even know if you guys are interested in purchasing homes, but like getting approved to purchase a home is really, really hard, especially for entrepreneurs, because the proof of income is it's like a special type of difficult when, going for loans and everything. But even without, the whole proof of income issue, it is extremely hard to get qualified to purchase a house, especially solo. You can't do it solo. I wouldn't be able to consider purchasing a house unless I made about 150 to $200,000. Consider, right? And then the consideration would be, hey, I'm gonna have a tenant in this place, and I'm gonna use that income to qualify to purchase the home. That's the only way I'm really able to get in something. Really, really. I've been looking. A lot of my clients are mortgage brokers and lenders and things like that. So I get to speak to them, and each and every single one of them are just like, yeah, you got to get your income up, bro. It's either that or, you got to find some way super creative options. But realistically, like, you got to get your income up if I'm gonna get anything in New York. And now going back to you're only rich, or you're either rich or you're poor. It's like, if if you can't buy it over 3 times, you can't afford it. You know, and it's hard to explain this because, like, I try to have this conversation, or not this conversation, but my lady, she thinks that, I have money, right? She thinks I have a little bit of money, or that I've built up my money, which I have built up my money. But you know, for me, I still feel like I'm broke because it's like one bad emergency and it's all gone. It's all gone. Like, one bad emergency and it's all gone. Hospital bills will eat up like that, you know. Luckily, I have insurance and everything, but it doesn't stretch as far as you would think. 20, 30, 40, $50,000 doesn't stretch as far as you would think. It don't stretch much at all. $50,000, it don't stretch that far. I can barely get a down payment. I would maybe be able to get a 3.5% down payment, but 10%, no. 20%, no. Maybe 5%, maybe. But it's like, everything is just, it's a crazy world that we live in, especially here in America. Food expensive, cars expensive, car insurance expensive. Life is just so expensive. I'm frugal, and I still found a way to spend $2,000 penny pinching everything that I possibly could. I spent $2,000 last month on, just penny pinching. I don't have to pay an exorbitant amount in rent. Like, it's like basically nothing. Like, absolutely like nothing. I have utilities like electric and, 2 phone bills, but I only had to pay one that month. Um, and then, like, little things. But my car payment is $360 and my car insurance is $500. And mind you, with my car insurance, I have all my deductibles raised to the max that I possibly could to get that $500 rate, right? So if I were to get into an accident, I'd have to come out of pocket probably almost $10,000 for my claim or whatever. $10,000. And I'm paying $500 a month in insurance. See how expensive it is? Like, if I had 50K in savings, that's what, 20% of my net worth? $10,000? Yeah, it's like 20% of my net worth just gone like that. Me personally, I think that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know. Rent is astronomical. I'm lucky enough to be in a good position, but, like, I see what it is. You're not finding anything in my area for less than $2,500, really. I mean, maybe if you really search and you're able to, you're willing to be in not the best living conditions, sure, you could find something for about 2,000, 1,900. But outside of that, anything that's worth, like, maybe inviting somebody over for, you're not getting anything under $2,500. Probably closer to 3,000. Food is expensive. You could only go to Aldi or Walmart. Only two options. Which they do have good food, but it's nothing to rave about. It's not anything, like, half of it is about to expire. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult, and, like, you would think, oh, you got $100,000 saved, you're good. You got motion. No. Honestly, even half a ticket is barely cutting it. Half a ticket is, like, comfortable, but until you get to a point where you can coast the rest of your life. I tell my mom all the time, by the time I'm 30, I want to be able to not retire exactly, but I want work to be optional, and I want to be able to just kind of coast, right? It's in the fire movement, but it's like, maybe I got half a ticket to a million at 30 years old, and I'm able to just have a part-time job and I'm chilling. I cover like whatever minimal expenses, and then maybe I get paid dividends, or I just pull 4% from my portfolio every single year to pay for my bills. And that's maybe like starting to reach, not rich, but better off. But it's like most people, if you don't have millions of dollars, you're almost on the brink of like total destruction of your finances. I don't know about you, but like it feels like it's such a long road, right? And it really seems like there's only one way to actually achieve financial security, and it's to make an exorbitant amount of money. I'm not talking about 10K. I'm really not even talking about 20K a month. I'm talking about $50,000 a month to really live the life that you want to live. To really live it, you know? Like I can't fathom me making 10, 15, whatever in a month. I can't fathom like really like buying things. Like I can't think like, oh, I could like buy like this nice car or whatever, or I could buy, this fancy computer or monitor or whatever. Like I can't really envision that, cuz I'm like, oh, if I buy that, then I'm left with like nothing at the end of the month. You know? Half of half of major expenses could easily just cut my entire net worth down like that. And that ain't motion. And that's still very poor. You know, the difference between having $1,000 and having $100,000 in the bank is not as large as you would think. It's not as large as you would think. At least with like having $1,000 in there, it's something. But it's like you don't have to be so stressed to lose it, because it's like, okay, you can make $1,000 back. 100,000, you can lose it just as fast as that $1,000, but it's gonna take you years to get back. I'm able to save $5,000 a month, and it's gonna take me years to save $100,000. Does that make sense? Like, does that? Because to me, I feel like saving $100,000 shouldn't take years to do or years to achieve. I feel like it should be able to be achieved in 6 months to a year. But most people can't do that. Average or median salary is like $60,000. What is that? Like 5,000 a month, 4,000 a month, and you got bills. Yeah, that's like 4,000 a month, and you got bills and everything. You're not saving 5K a month. You're saving maybe 500. It's gonna take you very, very long to even consider having $100,000 saved up. So I don't know. I mean, I might be just wanting things too fast, but like it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. I grew up thinking that making $100,000 was like, yo, you got motion. Like you really like are kind of rich, bro. But now that I'm like at the point where I'm like kind of almost making that amount, or I am making that amount if I continue on the trajectory that I'm at, uh, it's not really that much. I'm not making that much. The IRS is gonna take like 30% of it too. Like, come on. I don't know. It's just me. That's just me. I don't know what you guys think. I made a TikTok on it, and people were like, "Oh no, $100,000 is like plenty money. Like you're like kind of like, if you can't live off of that, or if you can't do that and achieve financial goals, then you have a spending problem." And I'm like, I'm the most average saver. Out of $11,000, I saved $8,000. 5,000 into savings, 3,000 into investments, and I still feel like things are just like kind of tight. So kind of like, what? I don't really feel like I'm making enough. I spend $1,000 to get a new phone, and like that's a tenth of what I made for the month. That's a lot. I know it sounds like a little bit, but it's a lot. A tenth of what I made was spent on a phone. That was last month. That's when I got a phone. But you know, you might not agree with me, but I think that it should be a topic of discussion, you know, because some of you're a little bit more patient than me, and you're fine with finally achieving financial security at 65. I'm not okay with that. I want to achieve financial security before 30. Before I thought I was gonna have it by now. I'm 22. I thought I was gonna be financially secure by now. All throughout high school, I thought by the time I'm like 22, 23, I'll be financially free and then living in Puerto Rico. Now I realize I'm not at that point right now. So, that's not exactly happening the way that I thought it was gonna happen. But some of you're gonna just be like, I mean, when I'm 65, I'm gonna have my pension, Social Security, I'm gonna have my retirement, I'm gonna have 401k and a Roth IRA, and then I'll be living good on the beach. And I'm just like, 65 is not gonna cut it. I'm gonna be old. You get to enjoy your life when you're old? No. Why can't I enjoy my life now? Or at least when I'm 30, right? And that's why I work so hard. It's 2 a.m. right now. That's why I work so hard, you know, constantly trying to push myself and do more and achieve more at a younger age. This is the youngest I'm ever going to be. I'm trying to do so much at a young age. And it's all because I want to achieve financial security and freedom. But the goalpost keeps moving farther and farther away. Home prices on average are 850 now, but it's going to be a million in the next couple years. $1 million house. That's a minimum of a $6,000 mortgage. Minimum, minimum, minimum. $6,000 mortgage for the next 30 years. You have to guarantee that you're going to make $6,000 every single month to pay your mortgage. That's not including car payments on top of that. That's not including anything else. That's not including, maybe taking care of children. And that's another thing. I'm now thinking about all this plus the cost of raising a child. And so now life has become mandatory that you have another person, a partner, that also helps to fund your life, both of your lives. Which I don't mind per se, but it's like you should be able to live and achieve things solo. You shouldn't have to have a partner to do it. You shouldn't have to have two incomes to qualify to purchase a home. You shouldn't have to have two incomes to qualify to get cars or whatever it is. You shouldn't have to. It should be, hey, let's both put our stuff together so that we can get a bigger one. That's cool. But to just get something, it shouldn't have to take two incomes of $100,000 to qualify to get a mediocre house. That's just me though. I don't know. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. Maybe I'm being gluttonous. Maybe I want too much too fast. Or maybe I'm just telling the truth. But for me, I believe I'm telling the truth. I feel like I'm cutting it close if I'm not making the money that I'm making now. If I were to make $4,000 next month or this month, I'd feel like I'm cutting it close. What am I doing? Where's my savings going? Like I didn't add anything to my savings. I didn't do anything to improve my business. I'm barely making my bills or whatever. I gotta take care of my mom, barely taking care of my mom. Like all that kind of stuff. If I made $4,000, that's still 50 grand a year. But I would just feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But of course, I'm grateful. Let me just get that out the way, because last year when I was making 3-4 thousand a month, I was like, wow, I'm making basically a full-time income. I've done it. I've made what my graduating class would be making once they graduated and found a job. $50,000 starting salary or whatever. That was my goal. Is like, hey, I want to like make sure I'm on track with them once they graduate, which they graduated this year. Now, of course, I'm ahead now, but like, that was my whole thing. So when I started making 3 to 5K or 3 to 4K, I was like, oh snap! Like I'm making like what they would be making. But as I made more money, my expenses went up, and it's just a matter of just that's just how it goes. Business expenses, I have more subscriptions. I have an editor that I have to make sure that I pay. I got a car payment, car insurance, you know, all these different things. Plus, I'm trying to save aggressively to buy an investment property. I'm trying to make enough money to prop up my income so that I can get a big enough house, or actually qualify to get any type of investment property. That's just me though. I won't keep you guys too long. Appreciate anybody that watched this. You guys are my family, and I enjoy ranting to you guys because sometimes I don't have anybody to talk to about it that really is interested in it. But if you guys are interested in it, drop a comment below. Appreciate anybody that watched this.